Can we do this thing? Nah, f that. Matter of fact, you call Fallout. I don't like vaults. Ain't no vaults. Get rid of the vaults. You ain't gonna have them. Also, it should be in a jungle. No, it should be in Miami. Can you set it Miami? Yeah, like post-apocalyptic Miami? No, just Miami. Well, we were talking about Fallout. I can push it off. I'll talk about Fallout first because we're just talking about Fallout. I don't have as much to say about Fallout as I do Starship Troopers. But let me tell you right now. Okay, we'll get into it real quick. Good review. Review of something that I liked. Fallout, the TV show, was fucking awesome. It was so good. I loved it. I loved that film. That movie. If you guys haven't seen, Lucy's her name. It's amazing. It is, I would say, the Last of Us show exists. So if it weren't for the Last of Us show, this is by far the best video game adaptation into a film or into a show I have ever seen. Like, when I was a kid, people always used to tell this repeated lie that everyone knew was a lie, but for some reason, no one ever called it out the right way, that video games made bad movies, which is just fucking not true because a lot of video games are mostly movies. The Last of Us is more of really like a TV show, unironically, like the video game itself, than it is a video game. Going back and playing The Last of Us kind of really highlights how little game there is to it. A lot of it's just walking around, picking shit up, and shooting at things. Like the game is so kind of. Can I just talk shit about The Last of Us? The Last of Us is so badly designed as a game. Not from a technical standpoint. I can't really speak to the programming, so to say. Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad. But the actual game design of Fallout is dog shit. And it's from an era where games were dog shit designed. You know what I mean? There's a reason that there aren't Gears of War anymore. It's because Gears of War was like the best version of a sort of dog shit type of game, which was called cover shooters. Cover shooters dominated. That ended. What was I talking about? Oh, but the cool thing about it was because the mechanics were so sort of ingrained but simplistic, you did have time to work on other shit, which is why you had the Naughty Dog games that were hyper cinematic games. Every Uncharted game, when the good ones were coming out, basically the first three, was like a little fucking adventure movie. The Tomb Raider's the last cover shooter that I'm thinking of, the Tomb Raider remakes. Gears of War had really, really good story beats and really good story moments. Why? Because they could kind of do set pieces and stuff. The set pieces could move and do all kinds of shit because they knew the character was only going to be stuck in one area, going from 90-degree angle to 90-degree angle. And it was an era, and it ended. They translated really well to movies. I'm surprised there's not a Gears of War movie. Even if it was just 3D, that shit would fucking blow the box office to pieces. And some of the best parts of Last of Us being adapted was kind of understanding and like making little tiny jokes. I can't remember all of them off the top of my head about that universe. Fallout is amazing. I would say the story overall doesn't hit as hard as Last of Us. But then again, Last of Us' story is just notorious, right? It's the one thing that fucking Neil, whatever his name is, Blomkamp, or I don't think that's actually Neil Blomkamp. Druckmann is the one thing that Druckmann ever did right. Everything else has been a fucking a shit show, a crapshoot, and a failure. And no, with all due respect, Fallout is so good. Fallout is perfect as a video game adaptation. I would say it was the better video game adaptation. Whereas Last of Us is a story adaptation that nods to aspects of the video game it's based on. Fallout really feels like the video game it's based on, like in a crazy deep way. It really feels like it. I can almost write out the statistics of every character. Like Maximus, the Brotherhood of Steel character, you can just tell is like low charisma, low intelligence, high, unfathomably high endurance. Like he min-maxed endurance. His endurance is at a 10 on his special. You know what I mean? Which is fucking extra funny because he gets trapped in his power armor. He doesn't really understand how the power armor works, which is an aspect of you can't use power armor that well if your fucking intelligence is too low in the games. Sometimes you can't even put it on. And that's just amazing. Lucy has hilariously high charisma, probably like a mid-level intelligence and like an okay level of like strength and shit. And she's fucking awesome. I love her as a character. She's a fucking blast. And then you have you have the Ghoul, Walter Goggins, who plays Cooper Howard. And he has literally the jet addiction perk. He has the drugs perk. It's awesome. And he's got ghoulified, so he doesn't have to worry about radiation, which is just extra funny that they even say that in it. And he has obviously high as fuck perception because shit doesn't get by him, and great luck because things are just always kind of happening his way. And he's got he's got VATS. Like he just literally, you could just tell he's VATSing people, which is the funniest fucking part. And I loved him. I loved every fucking aspect of him being on there. And that alone just killed me. I haven't looked anything to the behind the scenes stuff. If I found out, and it might just be me reading into the show, which happens, but if I found out that when they did the character sheets, they literally wrote out a special for every character and maybe even include some perks, that would be amazing. You see the Wasteland Doctor, there's side quests, obviously, that happen, and it's funny as shit. They're even like hand waved that you have to go do side quests to get stuff done. They have traders, you have caps, you have random stuff. But the best part is just the Wasteland characters get to be in it. And I love them. Just Lucy running into a guy. He has nothing else to do with the story, but it's the kind of thing that would happen. She leaves the vault. The first person she runs into is just a random guy doing some shit who talks to her and like literally does the Bethesda like, hey, how you doing? You know what I mean? Like, whoop. Like, and comes up, talks to her, has a conversation. You can see in like, if you have played the games enough, her literally going, ting, 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 ting. There's a town over there? Yeah, town over there. Da-da-da-da. And she finishes the conversation. He's like, okay. And just fucking walks back into his house. Like, shut the fuck up, dude. Oh my God. So good. The flashback scenes are great. I even like the subplot with Cooper Howard being like a human being to kind of connect the vault to the past to the future, so to say. Those sections were great. The Wasteland Doctor, that like so many people in like the 1990s and stuff when I was growing up, if you try to tell them like, okay, so there's a part of these video games where you get permanent perks because you complete like a quest. Sometimes you just talk to a guy or happen to like, you just give him something as part of a quest and you'll get a permanent perk. And it changes you. Like the fucking, the knight, I can't remember what his name is, but Maximus's co-worker, so to say, the other knight who's like fucking beating his ass, who definitely has higher intelligence and stuff, but like fucking he ain't got that speech perk, you know what I mean? He basically accidentally completes a quest, so to say, with the Wasteland Doctor. He takes a hit off that shit, fixes his foot, and just gets the perk like partial ghoulification, or maybe whatever it is. He gets hit with an FEV through like magic. Like, to convince somebody in the 90s, like, yeah, this can happen, and blah blah blah. They'd be like, all right, no. See, what we're gonna do is, we need there to be hot young people fucking. And they're like, okay, well, I mean, we could have that. I'm like, no. 80% of the movie, 90% of the movie, fucking. Or Dayton. I want to see at least 2 close-ups of wistful goodbyes. Okay. Can we do this thing? Nah, fuck that. Matter of fact, you call it Fallout. I don't like vaults. Ain't no vaults. Get rid of the vaults. You ain't gonna have them. Also, it should be in a jungle. No, it should be in Miami. Can you set it Miami? Yeah, like post-apocalyptic Miami? No, just Miami. Yeah, just Miami. I want to go there. I'm going to be on producer, so I'm going to go there with you. We're going to set it Miami. No vaults. It's a romance. No side quests. It's not the apocalypse. It's Miami. Yeah. And we're going to call it Fallout? Yeah. Okay. What? Any other requests? Oh, there needs to be a robot. Okay, well, there's a lot of robots in Fallout. Do you want, what kind, like, can I show you some of the, like, this is a Mr. Anderson? No, none of that gay shit. Robot dog. What? A robot dog? Robot dog! Robot dog. I want a robot dog. Why do you want a robot dog? It's, like, really hard to get dogs to wear a robot costume and walk. I don't need to walk. Just put roller wheels on its feet. You ever seen a Hot Wheels car? Yeah. It should be a Hot Wheels car, but with electric in it. Like an RC car? Don't you make shit up with me. Make it like a Hot Wheels car. I want it to be red. No, I want it to be blue. No. Just make it metal color. Metal color. Metal color. You ever seen Back to the Future? Yeah. I want it to be like that DeLorean. The DeLorean? Don't talk back. Make it DeLorean color. Metal color. Okay. Okay. And that suit he's wearing? Yeah, the blue one? Yeah. That's gay. You gotta cut that out. No, none of them unitards. You're not supposed to say that word anymore anyway. Unitard? No, don't say it. You're gonna get us canceled. Tyler, you stoked to see a Deathclaw in the 2nd season or a super mutant? People theorize that the guy that took the weird regeneration drug will become one. Yeah, I think he's going to turn into a super mutant, if I had to guess. Or something like that. Deathclaws are okay. Deathclaws is not as exciting for me. I am pumped. If they go to New Vegas, I am pumped to see Yes Man. I feel like that would be a thing that's in there. Just a Yes Man just rolling around. Because you haven't seen those. They only had Mr. Handies in this one. And not the not the fucking Yes Man type robots. I can't remember what the fuck they're called. But I want to see some of those. I want to see them walking around. I want to see them walking around the fucking Mojave like crazy bad. Like so much worse. Just going to fucking Novak and doing that stuff. If they had it like that, the canonical ending of New Vegas in this universe is the convince Leggett Lanius to leave the Hoover Dam and continue on, and so like you get to see like Caesar's Legion continued after the death of Kaiser. That would be fucking awesome. Just having Caesar's Legion remnants represented in the game would be fucking phenomenal. Seeing the Novak dinosaur, seeing Nightkin would be fucking hilarious. Nightkin, Super Mutants, Stealth Boys. Oh yeah, special shout out to Norm, dude. Lucy's little brother, who just is the most highest perception int fucking like sneak perk motherfucker. I love him. He's just the fucking best. I need the Yes Man ending to be canon. The Legion without Kaiser is toast. I think it's bad, but I don't think it's no faction in Fallout. I guess we're continuing it for a little bit. No faction in Fallout ever ends. That's the one thing I'm saying. It's partially because Bethesda does not like paying for new ideas. It fucking drives them crazy. And callbacks is like 90% of Bethesda's fucking business strategy. But also just kind of with the war never changes, you know? You always kind of have callbacks. So having like a Caesar's Legion that was put back together, you know, like if you have I know I'm cheating because I'm talking about DLCs that I haven't paid, but I particularly like the character of Ulysses. Like Ulysses fixes shit up in his area, leaves, and puts together something that's not quite Caesar's Legion, obviously, because it wouldn't be, but like, some sort of like Roman antecedent type of deal. Or even if they just do like real Rome, they just go past Caesar. Fuck, actually, that would be slap. Fuck, hold on, leave the Ulysses thing out of it. If they just have a post Caesar's Legion, like a new version of Rome that's run by like the new Caligula, like the guy calls himself something, but they all call him like New Caligula kind of deal, and he's like debauched and psychotic, and like there's a suggestion. I know that it's one of those things. This is the one time allowed that Linnaeus is not actually Legate Linnaeus. Like there is no Legate Linnaeus anymore. Like because when the Burning Man, whatever his name was, when he was legate, he was like the last one that they could permit to fail, and like him failing almost broke the Legion in its way. And so like the new legate is a series of legates. So like it's just anybody that wears that mask, which is why the mask is so important, because of the legend and the legend and the idea, kind of like Batman has to survive the man himself. To have like the new legate, maybe even just like searching for a new Kaiser, right? Like putting together like biblical desire, or like a biblical, like kind of not biblical, but like a religious canon together, kind of like off rip, and like consulting with legionaries and trying to reunite things so that they can like put an end to the Caligula thing and find like Kaiser's like missing child. It would be a cool fucking like subquest type deal. If Joshua Graham is ever mentioned in the show, I will lose my shit hard. Yeah, I mean, fucking dude, Mr. House was in it, and he was great. The person that played Mr. House is fucking awesome. Joshua Graham, who used to be his right hand for decades, did say the Legion can't survive without him, but Bethesda isn't going to let recognizable faction die off if they can help it. But also, like, people would have said the same thing about Caesar at the time of Caesar. You know what I mean? But like Rome persisted after, and if the people that are underneath Caesar can figure it out, they might not be able to keep the like what is it, the 12 legions or whatever, the tribes that are underneath Kaiser. They might not be able to keep them all together, but having someone who rose up from within it and is like rebuilding the Legate Linnaeus like mythology and stuff, and maybe even doing something crazy like impersonating like the burned one or something. I don't know. Like you can kind of go off of it and trying to reform it in order to like, or maybe even there's just a schism, like a true Roman schism. So there's like a Byzantine, Byzantium and like a true Rome kind of deal. And one of them, maybe you're just even pitting them against each other. Because the military force of the tribes underneath the Kaiser does not go away. Just the Kaiser himself lets the legion split. So these like 2, 3 maybe factions are like, who's going to be the one that maybe like the legate chooses, or like who is like the true legate that can pick from amongst like the remaining tribes, like only he would know, because Linnaeus survived. Only he would know who the true Kaiser is. You know what I'm saying? Because like they would lie too. Like they wouldn't go back and be like, Caesar's dead. You know what I'm saying? Like they would do everything in their power to try to maintain their power. Even like despite the like canonical endings maybe of like it fracturing, you can still rebuild what's fractured. That's like the ongoing thing of Fallout, is trying to like is simultaneously trying to rebuild what you lost while losing the old world, while also trying to, and very often failing, to escape the issues that the old world destroyed itself with. So like that constant contradiction of trying to return order and technology and a sense of like peace and health, coupled with the like need to protect yourself constantly, and like the paranoia and fear of these places that grow, like fucking like you're always trying to like gain, we need to hold on to Eden, we need to hold on to this power source, we need to hold on to the Hoover Dam, we need control of New Vegas. I want to get a handle on these nuclear stockpiles. We need to take control of this thing. because everybody's always paranoid, not so much of the intentions of the other people, but of their intentions ever being able to be like realized. Like that's the whole thing with like the bombers, if I remember correctly, in like New Vegas, right? Is they had bombs, you know what I'm saying? And like they were a legitimate military threat, not to the entirety of a specific organization, but just like to kind of anybody, they could be a very big irritation, which maybe not will like let the bombers take over that faction, but like their presence could do enough damage to any individual faction to give the actual faction that wants to take them over the ability to wipe them off the map, which is one of the reasons like the NCR has you running like genocide ops against the fucking against the raider tribes and shit. And why, like, a lot of the fucking Mr. House things are like, hey, you know, you need to go make sure that we have access to, you know, whatever it is, like this power. Like, we need the energy from Hoover Dam coming here. We need this. We need that fucking weapon supply. We need the military chip upgrade for my robots and stuff. No, and then the other one's like, no, we need that little bit of edge. We need that little bit of an edge, like over and over and over and over and over and over again. And I think you can easily extrapolate that out within seconds just to the entirety of the remnants of Caesar's Legion, which, you know, it's a bunch of thugs. He did a good job of killing a lot of like the raiders, like higher ups and stuff, but a lot of people survived. And to know, you know, you have one Frumentari, like fucking Ulysses, who's out there doing some big shit. You know what I mean? Like he was fucking on one. He's not the last of them out there. You know, there's other high level people in Caesar's place, people that Caesar maybe didn't know about, people that maybe Joshua Graham didn't know about, or Legate Linnaeus, or didn't really consider a major player because they were biding their time and they might sneak in from the side and be like, hey, you know, these six tribes are mine. And when what happened the first time, you know, you literally, I'll fucking kill all of you, or enough of you that the rest of you will kill each other if you don't fucking work for me specifically. We are going to get together. We're going to take the other fucking 6 tribes, and then we're going to go back and fuck Hoover Dam. We're going straight to New Vegas because, like, I heard a rumor that fucking Mr. House is not the fucking head of House anymore. Kind of deal. Okay, pro tip, don't have the Kings help the NCR at all because he will kick them out of Freeside, and that's not cool because the Kings are cool and based. True, but the one thing is that's always true is Driver Nafai has to die. That's why his name sounds like that. Driver Nafai has to die. You know who has to die? Driver Nafai. I want to see Cazadors swoop in and fucking like absolutely obliterate some people. You know what I mean? Have that moment. Because it was that's what happens to everybody. The first time you play that game, especially like if you're unaware, I didn't know about the Cazadors. I didn't know about them the first time I turned it on because they weren't in the like preview. The preview for it, even in the book that I read, I played Fallout 1. Oh, hey, there's Deathclaws down there. I went, I looked. Okay, Deathclaws, cool. Very scary. Very scary. I'm going to go around. I'm not going to the quarry. I'm not going to the quarry. I'm going to walk around very daintily on my little feet, and I'm going to leave. You know what I mean? They said you have to go this way. I don't think that's true. There's men dressed up like wolves. They are crucifying people, and I am not a religious man, but I do find it distasteful. I find it very distasteful. I think I'm going to go to the left. Oh, what is this? Look, it's just like a bloat fly. Look, there's bloat flies. They're a little weird shaped. Who gives a shit? Oh, fuck, I'm getting stung to death. There are 1,000 of them. They're so fast. They are the fastest. I am dead. I have been killed. Cazadors would end the series right there, man. Worst thing ever. Fast, and Deathclaws are much harder to hit. Yeah, I fucking hate Cazadors. You know what else I didn't get to see in the first one is Mirelurk. Mirelurks are always cool. Tunnel snakes forever, though. You know what I mean? Tunnel snakes forever. Okay, let's look at this cartoon. Thank you, guys. Tunnel snakes forever. End of segment.
Hope you enjoyed your time on the Westside. Don't forget to subscribe and like it. road.